There have been hundreds, if not thousands of players that have the infamous Tommy John surgery ever since it was introduced in Major League Baseball nearly 50 years ago. Do you know which MLB pitcher holds the record for most innings thrown after getting the surgery? That would be the man the surgery is named after, Tommy John. After missing the entire 1975 season while recovering from the surgery, John would go on to throw over 2,500 additional innings across 14 seasons once he returned in 1976. Tommy John and his procedure revolutionized the baseball and medical world, but this video is not about the surgery in question. It's about the pitcher's career. While he is known to most for the surgery, Tommy John had one of the greatest careers in MLB history and absolutely deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. How many people watching this video are even aware of just how great he was? He was not only one of the best pitchers during his era, he's one of the greatest pitchers of all time. Tommy John was a starting pitcher who played in Major League Baseball for an incredible 26 seasons from 1963 to 1989. He played for 6 teams during his time in baseball, most famously playing for the Chicago White Sox, New York Yankees, and Los Angeles Dodgers. In his career, he pitched in over 750 games and started exactly 700, while throwing over 4,700 innings. He holds a lifetime record of 288 for 231, while recording an ERA of 3.34, adjusted ERA of 111, a WHIP of 1.283, has over 2,200 strikeouts, and earned 61.6 WAR. He's a 4-time All-Star, received MVP votes twice, and received Cy Young votes 4 times, which includes 2 second-place finishes. John boasts an impressive resume. You don't play over a quarter century in Major League Baseball by accident, and his longevity demonstrates his usefulness and reliability. While that long duration as a pitcher is astounding, just how good was Tommy John compared to the competition during his era as well as all time? Among all pitchers from 1963 to 1989, John ranks inside the top 10 in games started, innings pitched, and wins, inside the top 15 in shutouts, WAR, and strikeouts, and inside the top 20 in complete games. In that time frame, there were 45 pitchers to pitch at least 2,500 innings, or just over half of what John threw, and of that group, he ranks 20th in ERA, 17th in adjusted ERA, and 30th in WHIP. While that encompasses his entire career, I thought it might be interesting to compare Tommy John to the competition both before and after his surgery. From 1963 to 1974, John ranks inside the top 20 in games started and innings pitched, inside the top 25 in shutouts, WAR, and wins, inside the top 30 in strikeouts, and top 45 in complete games. He was one of 27 pitchers to throw at least 2,000 innings, and of that group, he ranks 10th in ERA, 10th in adjusted ERA, and 17th in WHIP. From 1976 to 1989, John ranks inside the top 10 in wins and games started, inside the top 15 in innings pitched and complete games, inside the top 30 in WAR and shutouts, and inside the top 60 in strikeouts. Sticking with a 2,000 innings minimum, there were 34 pitchers to throw at least that many in this stretch, and John ranks 22nd in ERA, 17th in adjusted ERA, and 31st in WHIP. So, not only was Tommy John a top starting pitcher during his career with a plethora of counting stats, he was arguably a top 20 starter both pre and post-surgery. It is not easy to be one of the better starters for that long of a duration. Although, how does he fare against pitchers all time? Among all pitchers in the history of Major League Baseball, John ranks inside the top 10 in games started, top 30 in innings pitched, wins and shutouts, top 65 in WAR and strikeouts, and top 200 in complete games. Among 40 pitchers with at least 4,000 innings pitched, John ranks 29th in ERA and adjusted ERA, and 32nd in WHIP. He has impressive rankings in several categories, and while some of his placements may seem low, he makes up for it with his high amounts in counting stats. Let's look at those counting stats specifically for a moment, as they are the strongest argument for his induction into Cooperstown. Tommy John is one of 20 pitchers ever to throw at least 4,700 innings. Of those 20, he's one of 3 not in the Hall of Fame. The other 2 are Roger Clemens and Bobby Matthews. As you're probably aware of, Clemens is one of the greatest pitchers ever, but has not been elected due to his ties with PEDs. Matthews was a pitcher who played mostly in the 1870s, but surprisingly, has much support for Hall of Fame consideration. In addition to the innings, John also won 288 games, being just one of 26 ever to win that many. Of that small group, John, Clemens, and Matthews are again the only 3 not in the Hall of Fame. History shows that pitchers to pitch that much and have that many wins had Hall of Fame worthy careers. If I may compare John to a pitcher already in the Hall of Fame, Tommy John and this pitcher had 2 very similar careers. Near identical marks in nearly all categories, where John has even better numbers in most areas. This mysterious pitcher, who has been elected into the Hall of Fame, is Early Wynn. If you believe Wynn rightfully belongs in the Hall of Fame, it would be hard to argue against John. Quick unrelated tidbit, but despite pitching in 2 separate eras, Early Wynn and Tommy John were teammates at one point. John's Major League debut came on September 6, 1963, while Wynn's final appearance came exactly 1 week later on September 13th. A combined 60-year career in 2 very different eras, composed by 2 pitchers who were teammates for 7 days. Getting back on topic, if Tommy John had such an amazing career, why isn't he in the Hall of Fame? 2 main reasons, with one being how he came up just short of 300 wins. One of the most coveted pitching milestones in MLB history, every single pitcher that achieved 300 wins, minus Roger Clemens, is in the Hall of Fame. Being just 12 short, had John joined that exclusive list, there isn't a doubt in my mind he would have been a first ballot electee. Secondly, while Tommy John was a solid pitcher for a long time, he almost was never an elite pitcher. He had a few great seasons, placing second in Cy Young voting twice, but was more often just a good, not great starter. For someone that pitched in parts of 26 seasons, John never led the league in ERA, adjusted ERA, wins, innings pitched, strikeouts, or WAR. Amazing how someone could win 288 games and throw nearly 5,000 innings and never lead the league in either category. Also to note, the main reason John was able to accumulate so many wins and a high WAR stat was simply because he pitched forever. In the live ball era, John's 62.1 pitching WAR is the lowest amount among pitchers with at least 4,700 innings pitched, and he's just one of 2 with a mark lower than 83. Those are the main reasons why I believe Tommy John has not been inducted into Cooperstown. However, I believe his accomplishments on the field outweigh those drawbacks. John spent all 15 years on the Hall of Fame ballot, averaging 25% of the vote on a yearly basis. He'll be eligible for the Veterans Committee ballot for 2025, and hopefully then, we will get to see Tommy John inducted into Cooperstown once and for all.